The first sign was silence. Not the ordinary kind, the peaceful hush of dawn before the world wakes, but a silence so absolute it pressed against Aaryan's ears like a physical weight. It was the kind of quiet that felt intentional, as if the sky itself had paused to listen. Aaryan stood at the doorway of his small clay house, the wooden frame creaking as he leaned forward. Every morning, without fail, he heard the village roosters crowing, dogs barking, the blacksmith hammering steel long before the sun peeked over the mountains. But today, nothing, not even the rustle of wind through the palm trees. The air hung motionless, thick with a strange tension, like the moment before lightning strikes. His mother called from inside, her voice unusually shaky. "Aaryan, don't go far today." He didn't answer. He stepped outside, barefoot on the cool dirt, and lifted his eyes to the sky. For a moment, everything seemed normal, the early morning haze, the pale blush of the rising sun, the familiar clouds drifting lazily. Then he saw it, a crack, a thin, glowing fissure slicing across the sky like a wound. It pulsed with light, colors shifting in waves, blue melting into violet, orange bleeding into silver. It was beautiful, mesmerizing, and terrifying. The longer Aaryan stared, the more it felt like the crack was staring back. "By the gods," whispered an old man from a nearby hut. Soon more villagers gathered, their faces pale with fear. Some fell to their knees in prayer. Some clung to one another, whispering superstitions they had long forgotten. The elders, stoic and wrinkled as the bark of ancient trees, murmured among themselves. "It is an omen," one said. "A tear in the heavens," another added. "A punishment," a woman sobbed. Aaryan felt none of their fear. Instead, an odd tug pulled at him from deep within, like an invisible thread connecting him to the glowing fracture above. Something about that crack felt familiar. Calling, whispering, alive. Without realizing it, he took a step closer, drawn as if by instinct. Suddenly, boom, the sky thundered, though no clouds were in sight. A wave of energy burst from the crack, rippling across the sky like a shockwave. The villagers screamed and covered their ears. Birds fell from the air, stunned. The ground itself trembled. Aaryan didn't flinch. He stood rooted in place, eyes locked on the trembling fracture. Then he heard it, a voice, not spoken aloud, but echoing inside his mind, soft yet heavy with sorrow. "The balance is broken," he gasped and stumbled back. Around him, villagers cried and ran for shelter, convinced that the world was ending. But Aaryan knew something else, something no one else seemed able to sense. This wasn't destruction, this was a plea. That night, the crack glowed brighter, illuminating the village like a second moon. The elders ordered everyone to stay inside, to pray, to avoid looking at the sky. Every door was barred, every candle dimmed. But Aaryan couldn't stay put. That strange pull had only grown stronger. It throbbed through his veins like a second heartbeat. He felt as if the crack were whispering to him, calling his name through the silence of the night. He slipped out when the moon was high, its pale light casting long shadows across the empty village. The crack in the sky shimmered, vibrating with a soft hum only he could hear. The moment he stepped into the clearing, the air shifted, warm wind swirling around him, lifting dust and leaves in a gentle spiral. His heart pounded, his breath quickened, but he did not stop. He reached out, and the sky exploded with light. A beam shot down, enveloping him in brilliance. His feet left the ground. His body rose into the air as if weightless. He tried to scream but no sound came out. The world melted away in a cascade of colors, and for a moment, just a moment, he felt everything, every emotion of every living creature, every heartbeat, every whisper of wind, every pulse of the earth. Then darkness swallowed him whole. When he opened his eyes, he was floating. Not falling, floating, suspended in a vast, otherworldly expanse where islands drifted like clouds, rivers glowed with molten gold, and mountains curved upside down in the horizon. The sky was a swirling canvas of colors, shifting like liquid auroras. What is this place?" Aaryan whispered. "It is the Echo Realm," answered a voice behind him. He spun around. A figure approached, tall, slender, glowing faintly like starlight. Her hair flowed like strands of crystal. Her eyes shimmered with ancient wisdom. She moved with a grace that made the world around her ripple gently. "I am Sarai," she said, "guardian of the celestial balance." Aaryan stared, speechless. Sarai extended a hand, helping him stand on a floating stone platform. The ground beneath his feet vibrated faintly, as if alive. Sarai studied him with concern. "You are not meant to be here. Yet the sky brought you. That can only mean one thing, the echo has awakened. The echo? Aaryan asked. Sarai's expression darkened. She waved a hand, and the air shimmered, revealing images, shadows spreading across worlds, cracks forming between realms, stars flickering uncertainly. The echo is the shadow of humanity's forgotten emotions, she explained. Every broken promise, every abandoned dream, every fear suppressed instead of healed. Over centuries, these fragments have gathered, taking shape, feeding on despair. A dark form appeared in the vision, shapeless, shifting, hungry. Now the echo is strong enough to tear through worlds, Sarai said. And the crack in your sky is its doing. Aaryan frowned. But why me? I'm nobody. Sarai stepped closer, placing a glowing hand over his heart. Because you feel what others ignore. You listen when others turn away. The sky chose you not for strength or power, but for understanding. A warm rush flooded through him, truth, acceptance, purpose. But I don't know what to do, he whispered. You will, she replied softly. But first, you must face the echo. Not in battle, but in truth. For it is made from the very emotions humans fear to face. Aaryan swallowed hard. And if I fail? Sarai's eyes lowered. Then both our worlds will fall into silence forever. A cold wind swept across the floating platform. The sky above darkened as a swirling vortex opened in the air, shadows bleeding from its edges like ink in water. Sarai pointed toward the vortex. The echo lies beyond, but remember, your greatest enemy will not be the darkness you face, but the darkness within. Aaryan's chest tightened. He stared at the spiraling abyss ahead, fear whispering in his ear. But beneath that fear was something else, something steady, ancient, and strong. Hope. He took a deep breath. He stepped forward, and the shadows swallowed him as the chapter ends. Aaryan's world dissolved into shadow. Not darkness, shadows. Darkness is empty, silence. But shadows breathe. They shift. They whisper. And here, they whispered his name. Aaryan. The voice slithered through the air, soft as silk but carrying a sharpness that made his skin prickle. He stepped forward cautiously, though, forward, felt meaningless in a place with no ground, no sky, no direction. The echo realm was unlike anything he had imagined, an endless expanse of swirling black mist, glowing veins of silver light webbing through the shadows like cracks in a mirror. Aaryan, the voice repeated, this time from behind him. He spun around. Nothing, only the shifting void. His breath came fast, visible in the cold air. His heart hammered loudly enough that it echoed through the emptiness. He wasn't sure if the sound was his heartbeat or the echo itself. Then, far in the distance, he saw it. A figure standing alone. A figure shaped like him. Aaryan blinked. The figure remained. Same height, same posture, same messy hair blowing in the cold shadow wind. He walked toward it slowly, each step rippling the mist beneath him like water. The figure mirrored him exactly, stepping forward as well. They stopped a few feet apart. Aaryan's mouth went dry. Who are you? The figure tilted its head, a perfect reflection. Its eyes shimmered, not with life, but with emptiness, like two wells with no bottom. When it spoke, its voice sounded like Aaryan's own, layered with hundreds of other tones. I, the shadow said softly, am everything you never faced. Aaryan shivered. The echo. The reflection nodded. The part of you that doubts. The fears you bury. The voices you silence. I collect what you abandon. Aaryan glanced around at the swirling void. Then what do you want from me? The echo stepped closer, and the world trembled. I have grown strong from the broken thoughts of your world. Strong enough to tear the sky. Strong enough to swallow realms. And if you truly wish to stop me, you must confront what you've hidden. Aaryan's throat tightened. Memories began to flicker around him, moments he tried hard to forget. His father's disappointment, his failed attempts to fit into the village, the loneliness he masked behind forced smiles, the days he doubted his own worth. Each memory appeared like glowing phantoms, spinning around him. No, Aaryan whispered, stepping back. Not this. The echo smiled, a small, cold curl of the lips. You cannot heal a wound you refuse to see. A sudden gust of shadow wind shot forward, wrapping around Aaryan like tendrils. It lifted him into the air, spinning him violently. He struggled, gasping, as the memories sharpened into blades of light, slicing through the darkness. You feel unwanted, a memory hissed, Aaryan seeing his father's back as he walked away. You fear you are ordinary, whispered another. You think you do not matter, breathed a third. Aaryan screamed and clamped his hands over his ears, but the voices were inside him, not outside. The echo stepped beneath him, looking almost gentle. You fought hard to avoid these truths, Aaryan. But your avoidance is what gave me power. Humans bury their pain, feeding me more with every heartbeat. Stop, Aaryan cried. The echo reached up, touching his chest with a single cold finger. Face it, or fall. A blast of energy surged through Aaryan. He crashed onto a floating stone platform, different from Sarai's, cracked and jagged, suspended in shifting shadow clouds. He groaned, pushing himself up on trembling arms. Then he saw Sarai. She lay unconscious on the far edge of the platform, bound by shadow vines. Her glow had dimmed, her breaths were weak. No, Aaryan breathed. He crawled to her side. Sarai, wake up. Her eyes fluttered open, faint light returning. Aaryan, I tried to follow you, but the echo trapped me. Aaryan clenched his fists. His fear turned into something hotter, anger. Let her go. The echo appeared behind him, its form flickering like a candle flame. Do not blame me for your choices, Aaryan. I feed off the shadows humans create. I did not weaken her, you did. Aaryan spun. Me. The echo nodded. Your doubt allowed me to break the barrier between realms. Your fear widened the sky's fracture. Your silence strengthened the darkness with every unspoken truth. That's not true. It is, the echo said calmly. But it is not a condemnation. It is nature. Humans fear their own hearts. You came here not to fight me, but to understand yourself. Aaryan's chest burned with confusion and pain. He looked at Sarai, whose glowing eyes pleaded silently for him not to give up. He took a shaky breath and stood. Fine, he said, then show me what I've been running from. The echo smiled approvingly. Very well. The world shattered. Aaryan blinked, and suddenly he was standing inside his childhood home. But everything was distorted, walls bent inward, colors too bright, shadows too long. He was small again, a boy of 6, watching his parents argue. His mother crying, his father shouting, his younger self hiding behind a wooden table, shaking. Aaryan's adult voice trembled. I don't want to see this. But you must, the echo whispered behind him. This is where your fear began. Memory. Aaryan sobbed silently as his mother knelt to comfort him, whispering that everything would be fine. But even as a child, he knew her voice was lying. That fear lodged into his heart like a seed. The scene cracked, melting into another. Aaryan stood alone in a field, the village children laughing in the distance. They played together. They never invited him. His attempts to join ended in mockery. You believed you didn't belong, the echo said gently. And so you built walls. You shut out the sky that wanted to reach you. Another memory formed, his father sighing heavily as Aaryan showed him a drawing of constellations. Why can't you be like the other boys? His father said. Stop chasing dreams. Aaryan's face twisted with pain. Stop. You felt worthless, the echo said softly. And that worthlessness gave me form. All the memories began to swirl around him, every insecurity, every moment of loneliness, every unspoken fear. Aaryan fell to his knees, sobbing. I'm not strong enough. I can't do this. I can't face all of this. A hand touched his shoulder. He looked up. It wasn't the echo. It was Sarai. Even in this memory realm, her form glowed faintly, her expression kind and knowing. You are facing it, she whispered. And that is what makes you strong. Aaryan choked on his tears. But I don't know how to fix this. You do not fix fear, Aaryan, she said. You acknowledge it, accept it, transform it. The echo watched silently, expression unreadable. Sarai placed a hand over his heart again, her glow warm and gentle. Your fears are real, but so is your courage. They do not cancel each other, they coexist. And the sky chose you because you feel deeply, not because you are perfect. Aaryan looked around at his childhood, his insecurities, his brokenness, and instead of running, he breathed slowly, and accepted it. I was afraid, he admitted. I felt alone. I doubted myself. I hid my pain because I thought it made me weak. The memories softened. The shadows loosened. The air warmed slightly. Aaryan stood tall, looking straight into the echo's empty eyes. But not anymore. The echo tilted its head, studying him carefully. Its form flickered, not with power, but with uncertainty. You, the echo whispered, are changing. Aaryan stepped forward, voice steady. You are part of me. My fear, my shadow, but you don't control me anymore. The echo's form trembled as cracks of light spread through it. Sarai placed a hand on Aaryan's shoulder. This is only the beginning. You have awakened something far more powerful than the echo. What? Aaryan asked. Sarai smiled softly. Yourself. The world shook as the echo screamed, collapsing inward. Shadows spiraled around them, forming a massive vortex. Aaryan and Sarai braced themselves as the Echo's realm began to crumble. The chapter ends with Aaryan standing at the edge of the collapsing darkness, staring into the swirling chaos, knowing the final battle was coming, not between him and the Echo, but within the very soul of the sky itself.